Joining us now, Danielle Hale, Realtor.com, chief economist. And were you nodding? Did you learn anything from Diana? You know all this stuff already, don't you, Danielle?
I think she's right. I think the point about builders this spring really trying to focus on that entry-level supply, which is something that they haven't done over the past couple of years because they haven't had to. I think that's one of the big reasons why we're seeing a difference in the new home sales market. It's also much better supplied, though I will note that a lot of the inventory that builders have right now is not yet started or is still under construction. And so buyers in today's housing market are really going to have to be patient, whether they're looking for an existing home. We're just not seeing new sellers come to market as quickly, so they're going to have to sit a while if they have really specific needs from their house, or whether they're looking at a new home. There's more availability. You just might have to wait for it to be completed and ready for you to move in. So it's still a challenging housing market, but certainly a different market than most people expected coming into 2023.
Is it a different market than I know you're young, you obviously not going back 100 years to know all these things, but it seems like it's different. It's just not, there's so many different dynamics in terms of millennials or coming out of the pandemic. Remember what vacation homes, you couldn't even find one a couple of years ago because of so many people wanting to be able to do that. Is it ever been, do you historically know of any periods that are similar to this? Does that give you any insight into how this plays out from here?
So this is a really unique period. You had the pandemic coincident with the fact that the millennial generation was sort of hitting their peak. The largest number of millennials turned 30 in the year 2020. And that's typically the age when a lot of people start making that decision to become homeowners after renting for a decade or more. So these factors really coincided to create the frenzied housing market that we saw at the beginning of the decade when mortgage rates were also at very low levels. That really created the means for a lot of buyers to make those housing dreams come true when it comes to home ownership. And now we're sort of coming down from that. But on top of the fact that that we have this large number of young people, we also have almost a decade of underbuilding in the housing market, sort of the aftermath of the mid-2000s housing situation. And so builders still have a lot of room to build, even if it weren't for current housing demand. There are about a couple million to 6 million homes underbuilt over the decade. And for context, we build about 1 million homes every year. So there's a lot of opportunity for builders. Now, looking at this year specifically, we recently revised our housing forecast, and we expect prices to continue to soften, but not by a whole lot, because you've got that strong demand and relatively limited supply, and it's hard to see prices fall when that's the case.
It's crazy. I mean, throw in, inflation, rising interest rates, as you said, the lack of, the total underbuilding in housing in the last 10 years. What do you think about housing prices? Has it surprised you that they're not up more?
Our original forecast was for home prices to go up more this year. But I think if you look at the fundamentals, it does make sense that we've seen some softness. Affordability just isn't there for buyers, especially with mortgage rates remaining as high as they have been. And that's one of the updates that we made to our forecast, is to really retool it and focus a little bit more on affordability. So we've gone from, almost a 6% increase in prices to expecting that they'll be down just less than 1% this year. I think, the fact that they're not down more is surprising some analysts. But when you've got a lot of households that are looking for a place to go, and rental vacancies also still relatively limited and the rent's still relatively high, it's just tough to find a place to live, whether you're trying to rent or buy this year.
Oh, you really are just the economist at Realtor.com. Normally, we have anyone in the real estate business that's, oh my God, this is the greatest time. It's the greatest time to buy or sell. But you didn't you didn't sugarcoat anything.